Hi, everybody. It's Lindsay Shipley, registered nurse and board certified lactation consultant. I'm so happy that you guys are joining me today. As you come in, I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. So let me know that you're here and let me know where you're from. I can't wait to see all these people that are joining. A couple people have already been in here. Brandy says hi. Diana says hi. Emily from Indiana. Celeste joining from Orem. Hi, Celeste. Is it Celeste? Probably, yeah. Caitlin from Houston. Wow, awesome, you guys. We got Rhonda from Louisiana, Christine from Arizona. I'm head out to Phoenix in a couple weeks. Couple girls from Utah, Tessa from Utah. How dang fun. I am so excited to hang out with you guys today. We're going to have so much fun. I'm blown away at what we've been able to put together for those that are joining as far as bonuses. It just makes me so happy because it's going to make things so much easier for you guys. And I know that you're joining because you have questions. And I know that you're joining because you're not quite fully confident in the process of pumping, and you really want to hit your breastfeeding goals. It's important to you. And that's what I'm all about. That's what Lactation Link is all about. It's creating confidence in motherhood and what you want for your goals, not what Lindsay wants, not what my next door neighbor wants, but what you specifically want for your goals. So I'm so excited to to kind of put all those fears to bed today, create some confidence, and have some fun together today. Megan says she's pumping from Florida. Taslim from Virginia. Oh, how much fun, you guys. Isn't it fun to connect with other women, like-minded women who are at the same stage? It's one of the reasons why I started our online forum on Instagram at Lactation Link. And it's one of the reasons that I just love what I do and feel so rewarded. I've got Megan from my team joining us here today in the chat, and she'll be popping in and posting periodically. You can email her with any questions at social@lactationlink.com, and she'll get you guys taken care of. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got so much to cover today, and I promise that if you stick with me, you're going to get so much value out of what's shared today. So sit tight, and we're going to have a lot of fun together. So let me get my screen share on. If you're having any problems with your tech or anything, make sure to put that in the comments as well. Okay. Screen share is going, and let's go full screen mode. Okay, so you guys might be wondering, who is this chick that you're getting advice from today? So my name's Lindsay Shipley. I'm a registered nurse, labor and delivery, and also an international board certified lactation consultant. I'm also a childbirth educator and a mother of two, and I'm a cancer survivor. And if it's okay, I'll share a little bit about that journey a little bit later. And I want to make sure you guys can all see the screen share, so just put a little comment in the chat if you can see. Okay, great. All right, so before we start, go ahead and turn off your phone, put it on silent, close any of your other tabs, and let's get rid of any distractions. Because I know you got a specific question that you came with today, but chances are I'm going to get to it, and I'm probably going to even add more value or answer questions you didn't know you had. But I need you to kind of put those distractions away. Let's have fun in the chat, but let's also stay engaged in the presentation. And go ahead and connect with me live. So go ahead and get on Instagram and share that you're joining in with me. Use a little selfie and maybe your laptop or whatever device you're using. And I promise you I'm going to reshare all of those later today on our Instagram forum of 50,000. So use the hashtags 5pumpingtips and also use the hashtag lactation link, and be sure to tag me in that image. And I can't wait to reshare those and just see who's been joining in with me today. And then later, I'm going to show you how you can get a ton of these pumping bonuses that I mentioned earlier. I'm actually blown away at how much value we've been able to put into these bonuses. It's going to include extra videos from me, PDF checklists, free products, just full free products that are going to get sent to your door. So stick around till the end so I can show you how to get those. These are some of the free products. So a Haakaa breast pump. So it's something that you put on your opposite breast when you are with baby breastfeeding that helps you save more milk faster in the freezer. So if you're returning to work or you just need some extra milk for mother-baby separation time, it's a perfect little tool to have around. That's a $24 value. We also have a Kindy Milk Collection Starter Pack. So instead of having to pump into bottles and then transfer what you've pumped from the bottle to the bag, it cuts out that middle step and you go go right into your collection bag with this Kindy starter pack. So that's perfect. It's a $49 value. And then this Undercover Mama nursing tank is perfect for breastfeeding or pumping. And what it does is it doesn't have straps. It actually attaches to any bra, whether that's a nursing or pumping bra or a regular bra. And it gives you that full coverage. And you guys are going to be able to choose your size and your color. Okay, and that's a $25 value. So lots of awesome, awesome bonuses today. So tell me in the chat, why haven't you become confident in pumping yet? Give me those little, I want to know as I dig in today and give this presentation, why are you here? Why are you just having that little hesitation, or what's holding you back from feeling more and more comfortable with pumping? Okay, I see a few here that the slides aren't advancing. So let me just pop out for 1 second and just make sure that our tech's working. Give me just 1 second. Let's get back right here. Okay, screen share should be on. Okay, I'm going to turn it off for 1 second. Hey guys, okay, let's make sure you can see that presentation. Okay. So it should be shared now. If I present. Okay. Okay, so let's give that a second. Let me know if you can see my screen now. Sarah says that she's worried about her supply. Let me get down here because we've had some great comments already. Looks like everybody can see it now. Awesome. So I'm going to back up really quick so that you guys can see those awesome bonuses. Okay. So your Haakaa breast pump, which I talked about, that helps collect milk really fast so you can store more in a shorter amount of time, $24.99 value. The Kindy Milk Collection Starter Pack, that's a $49.99 value. It's awesome. And it cuts out that middle step of having to transfer from the bottle to the collection bag. And then this beautiful Undercover Mama nursing tank at $25 value. So you guys are going to really want to stick around at the end to be able to know how to get those awesome bonuses. Okay. So why haven't you become confident in pumping yet? Oh my heavens, we're just having some problems here with this slide deck. Shoot. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to talk to Megan here for 1 second. Megan, if you could export that as a PDF, and then I can pull it up easier for these guys while I answer a few questions. Is that going to work? Mm-hmm. So just file, save it as a PDF, and then email it to me while I answer a few questions. Does that work?
I don't have your slides.
Okay. All right, let me pop out for 1 second, you guys. Sometimes we just have a few of these little tech issues, and we have so many friends joining us. So let me make sure that we can get this shared, and I'll kind of get right to some of your questions, and then we'll come back to the slides. Okay. So let me get to a few of your guys' questions while we're getting that slide deck up. So Samantha's saying finding the time to pump. So I think that depends on kind of what instance you're in. It's a huge issue, obviously, right? But if we're at home preparing to go back to work, so we've got time and we're just wanting to find some time to pump a little bit of extra, try to set up a little bit of a pumping station. So something that whenever you pass it, you don't have to set up the whole kit and caboodle. It's already set up. You've got bottles there. You've got kind of a Kindy collection bag attached already to your pump. So it's kind of less of a hassle and less time consuming for you to be able to go ahead and take those few minutes to pump. So set up that little pumping station. Make sure you've got things there like water, like some snacks, like you've got your phone there if you need it, okay? Also, a hands-free pumping bag can be really helpful for that as well. And so whenever you pass by that pumping station, pump for 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And try to do that several times a day. Let's say you've got 3 or 4 other kids, or you've got lots of other responsibilities, just start with 1 time per day. Okay, and just do that at the very beginning in the morning, okay? So when baby wakes up about 6 or 7 in the morning, anytime they wake up after that, feed them all that they need and then pump right after, okay? And that first 30 to 60 minutes after you've breastfed, go ahead and double pump. And then don't be concerned whether you get no milk or whether you get several ounces of milk, because guess what? Everything you're getting at the beginning is extra, okay? So that's that. If you're at work, and we'll get into this a little bit more with the presentation, if you're at work, you've got to work with your coworkers, you've got to work with your supervisors, and you've got to know the laws that apply to you and your state, so that you can go ahead and set up that extra time and be able to create that time, which is hard as a working mom, but it's doable if you plan ahead and you've got people to cover for you, and creating that time. And a lot of workplaces, they're required to provide that space for you to pump and also the time for you to be able to have your pumping breaks, okay? All right. I'm going to do a few other questions here, and hopefully we'll have our PDF shortly. All right. Jessica says she exclusively pumped for over a year with her second baby, but now with her third that she's nursing. Okay, so that's amazing. Jessica exclusively pumped for over a year, and I'm guessing we have several exclusive pumpers on here, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. But I also know that sometimes that can be double the work. So if it's not for you and you just haven't been able to learn how to breastfeed and pump and kind of interchange it, not for lack of effort, but just not enough support, then you're going to get that in my classes as well, okay? And then Vivian says that, Viviana, what did she say here? I can only pump 1.5 ounces between my two breasts, but my baby is satisfied when I breastfeed. Well, it depends on how old your baby is, Viviana. So go ahead and type that in if you feel comfortable and let me know. Because a lot of moms feel like they think in their minds that they need loads and loads of milk or ounces. And actually, if your baby is under about 6 weeks, that 1.5 ounces can be just fine and exactly what baby needs. If your baby's over 6 weeks, they're going to feed somewhere in between 2 to 4 ounces per feed. So that means some feeds they might take 2 ounces and be satisfied. Other feeds they might need 4 ounces to be fully satisfied. Okay, so that's something that is dependent on how old your baby is. And keep in mind that paced bottle feeding, which is something you'll get in the bonuses if you take advantage of today's offer, can really help to cut down on the large volume that baby's taking in, okay? Because it's possible to overfeed a breastfed baby if we just give them loads and loads of ounces, because I don't know about you, but I'll eat a donut if it's sitting in front of me. Doesn't mean that I actually need it, right? So if we use this paced bottle feeding technique, then we give baby's brain time to catch up, okay, with their tummy. This is kind of the whole concept of our eyes are bigger than our stomach, okay? If we give these breaks periodically, then baby's able to catch up and realize, oh, I'm feeling full, I'm feeling satisfied. And we keep them right within that 2 to 4 ounce range, okay? Hopefully that's really helpful. Dara says shield size, another bonus that's going to be offered in today's offer. It's a video that's perfect for saying, is my pump fitting right? Because if your pump's not fitting right, number one, you can't get as much milk out as you would. And number two, it could hurt if the pump's not fitting correctly. But sometimes it can be hard to know because there's all those different flange sizes. And beyond that, you may need a different flange or shield size from one breast to the other. Okay, did I just blow your mind? But that's actually true. Some moms need different flange sizes from one side to the other. In addition, throughout their pumping or breastfeeding experience, they may need to change sizes up or down throughout that experience because our breasts will change in size. Okay, so hopefully we're getting off to a great start, getting right to your guys' questions. I'm going to check really quickly. That's okay if you guys can't see. We're waiting on the PDF, but I think that it's about ready to pull up. Thanks for being so patient with this today. Sometimes we just have little teeny tiny things like this that we need to get taken care of. All right. Awesome, awesome. Okay, here we go. Let me get back to screen share here. All right, and then Megan's gonna let me know and you guys are gonna let me know if this comes up live. There's me with my thumbs up sign. Alrighty. Here it is. Okay. Full screen mode. Okay, here we are. How are we looking, you guys? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get into full screen mode here. Okay, we should be sharing the desktop now. Can everybody see here and see the bonuses? Man, I have no idea. Okay, Kim says we're good. Everybody else come in and let me know if you can see. Okay. All right, so there's the bonuses. Then here's my screen that says, why haven't you become confident in pumping? Dang it. Okay. All right. Megan's going to troubleshoot that for just a minute, and she's going to see, because we're using Firefox, and sometimes when we change browsers, we have an issue there. So she's going to troubleshoot that for a minute. But are you guys okay if I just go ahead and teach you? That's what I want to do. If we're having this tech issue, I'll still make the offer available to you. You guys will still get emails. It'll show you everything. But let's just utilize our time, and I want to teach you guys while we're here together today, okay? So I'm just going to come back to teaching mode, and thanks for being so patient. You can test it 5 million times, but for some reason, when you go live, it wants to be silly. Okay. Okay, we're okay. We're still together having fun, right? All right, so let's go through here. All right, so tell me in the chat still, why haven't you become confident in pumping? A lot of girls had written earlier that they're worried about their milk supply. Maybe you're worried about going back to work and being, part of that 50 to 60% of women that have to wean when they return back to work because they're, number one, worried about their supply, or they don't feel like they're pumping enough. Today, let's change that around and give you some confidence, okay? And then tell me in the chat, are you guys here because you want to ensure a good milk supply even when you're pumping? Okay, so you want to know what to expect and what's normal, because I'm guaranteeing you there's a lot of you on this call that things are going right and things are normal, but maybe you've heard some myths and maybe you've heard some chatter that's kind of putting some little doubts in the back of your mind. Okay, let's get rid of those today so that we can feel fully confident in going towards our goals. Okay. All right, and then are you currently trying to store some milk for work or otherwise? So maybe you just want some mother-baby separation time. You want to be able to go to the gym. You want to be able to have a date night out, girls' night out. You just want a little bit of excess milk stored, okay? But you're not getting anywhere. I bet there's a bunch of you on the call today that you have started trying, but you're not getting anywhere, and you need a little bit of that secret sauce that I'm going to share with you today of how we can get started and start compiling some milk there. All right, so does this sound like you guys? Do you want to reach your breastfeeding goals without having to be hooked up to a pump all day long? Okay, that's me. I wanted to be able to breastfeed my kids. I wanted to be able to return to work, but I didn't want to be hooked up to a pump in a dark room all day long. Okay, let's see. Kate says she works from home, but she has tons of meetings throughout the day. So should she block her schedule 3 times a day to pump? Great question, Katie. You're definitely going to need to make time to pump throughout the day, and frequency, okay, is going to be something important. So keep that in your mind as we go throughout. So you've tried asking your friends about this, but they just say you'll figure it out, and you have no idea where to start, okay? You just wish you could know what to do to get started pumping, start to safely store some extra breast milk, and to keep making enough milk for your baby's needs. Does this sound like some stuff that's running through your guys' mind or has been running through your mind? And that's why you're here today. So today we're going to go over lesson 1 is, when should I start pumping? A lot of people wonder that. When should I start pumping to create a little stockpile of milk? So that's going to apply to several of you. Lesson 2, how long should I pump for? I'm short on time. We're all short on time. So how long do I absolutely need to pump for to make sure that I'm getting enough milk and that I'm protecting my milk production? Lesson 3 is going to be what's more important, frequency or length? Okay, so I kind of touched on that just a few minutes ago. So I think you may already know the answer, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the details of why. And lesson 4, a secret technique to maximizing milk output that not a lot of people know about. So you're going to be happy that you're getting on the secret technique today. And then lesson 5, how to pump more milk in less time. Right? Isn't that, raise your hand in the comments. Give me a little high five if you want to know how to pump more milk in less time, because that's everybody's number one, typically. Okay. Hell yes, Jessie said. Brittany says yes, laugh out loud. You guys are awesome. I know we have just a great group on here today. Exactly. Okay. People are writing exactly. That's what Caitlin put. All right. Erin says yes. Erica says she hates her pump. So we want to make sure that you have the right pump that's going to be your friend rather than your enemy, right? So we can talk about that a little bit too. So before we dig in, I want to share my story with you guys quickly, if that's okay. So you know how I got here and learned all this stuff. So even though I'm a labor and delivery nurse, I worried about my milk supply with my first baby. And I returned to work at about 12 weeks postpartum, and I was able to store a little bit before I started, not a freezer full by any means, but a little bit of milk before I started. And you don't need a freezer full. A lot of moms only pump just enough. They get ahead just enough just for that day of work because they know they're going to replenish what they need for that next day. And I'm here to tell you that's okay. All right. A lot of moms will pump lots and lots of excess, but sometimes they end up not even using all of that. Sometimes it ends up going bad. And sometimes they go, oh, I put a lot of time into this and I actually didn't need this much. So it's great to have extra. It makes you feel awesome, but I don't want you to feel like you can't do it unless you have a huge freezer full of milk. Okay. So I worried. My baby hit growth spurts and I worried, oh my goodness, like it feels like he's feeding constantly. It feels like perhaps maybe I can't keep up. All right. That was kind of one of my experiences with my first baby. Maybe you guys can relate to this. Not knowing what to expect can be stressful. All right. And kind of having this conversation in your head of, am I enough? Am I making enough? I want my baby to be healthy. And I remember having this conversation in my head and sitting there looking at a chubby baby who was in the 80th percentile for his weight. Okay. So you got to keep in mind perspective, and they might go to breast more frequently during certain times. They might feel like they're drinking from the bottle more frequently, but we have to keep in mind that there's an ebb and flow in that first year of their needs and what we produce. And so if we can just stay the course and trust the process, we're going to reach our goals. Okay. So then I finally started learning more about how to maintain my milk supply and also how to feel confident that I did have what my baby needed. All right. I learned how to create a great milk supply from day one. All right. And I'm guessing that a lot of you guys have already done that part. I learned what to expect and what was normal. All right. Remember that early question when we talked about the 1.5 ounces? A lot of moms will write me and say, oh, I pumped 2-3 ounces and I know that's nowhere near enough. Well, remember how I said in the very first couple minutes of the webinar that 2 to 4 ounces past 6 weeks old is perfect for a breastfed baby. And that's for however old they get. It's not like a formula fed baby where as they get older, they need more and more volume. Okay, so rest assured that if you're getting within that, you're fine. And if baby's younger than that, way less is required. Okay. Having the confidence to trust the process, it's huge, but you can't have the confidence unless you have a foundation of what to expect, what's normal, and you're comparing that to the experience that you're having. And you're like, oh, wait, so what I'm pumping is the right amount. Oh, wait, you know, my baby, the things I should be looking for wellness are actually height and weight and head circumference and how active they are throughout the day, how their skin tone looks, how their diaper output is. You learn actually what to sync those wellness indications on, as opposed to these myths and these overheard conversations that we internalize analyzed to death as women and as mothers, okay? And then with my second baby, I had 3 unexpected surgeries. And I don't think that a lot of us expect when we're going to have surgery. And I guess I share this story so that I hope that you don't have the unexpected diagnosis that I did at 6 weeks when my daughter was 6 weeks and I got diagnosed with cancer. I never expected that in a million years. But what I will tell you is that you're going to have hurdles of your own. And I want to let you know that they're not, insurpassable or insurmountable. You can work through them as long as you have the right education, the right tools, the right support. So with my second baby, I had these 3 unexpected surgeries, but I had already done kind of this homework, and I had created this support foundation with my first because I had some of those stumbling blocks. So I had an unexpected C-section, and then I had 2 unexpected surgeries to remove my cancer. And I don't want to startle anybody too much in the middle of the presentation. I'm now 2 years cancer free, so we could do like a little round of applause if you can in the comments. That would be awesome. So that's great. But in this challenge that came to me that was completely unexpected, it was actually really important to me that I was still able to provide milk for my daughter. And I'm not saying that anyone else in that circumstance where you would have to have surgery or you go through something like cancer, that it would be wrong to use formula or use bottles during that time. Absolutely not. That's not wrong. But what I'm saying is that since I had to be unexpectedly separated from my daughter way more than I wanted to that early in her life, it was really pivotal for me and my well-being and my mental and emotional well-being to be able to continue to provide her milk, because I felt like I was the only one that could do that, and that gave me that important unique role for her. And so being able to use my support system and my knowledge, I was able to keep pumping and providing her milk throughout those surgeries and recoveries. And that was huge for me. It actually changed my life because it was a really hard, bitter time for me, unexpected time. And being able to, when I was reunited with her, continue to have that closeness of breastfeeding made a world of difference. Okay. So you guys are going to have your own unexpected little hurdles that you're going to encounter. Every single breastfeeding and pumping mom does. So we got to arm you with that tool belt so you can get over any of those hurdles and you can have that same joyful process. Okay. All right, so I had gained the confidence to breastfeed and pump without worry. So it allowed me to focus on my recovery at hand and not worry so much about pumping and being able to provide enough for her. So I ended up reaching my breastfeeding goals with both my children. And like I said, your goals are going to be unique to you. They're not going to be the same as mine. And they're not going to be the same as the other 400 cute mamas that are on this call today. And be okay with that. But I want you to be able to reach those because it's going to leave a nice little imprint on your heart. It's going to be important to you. And so I want you to be able to have all the tools to do what you want to be able to do. Most of all, I just felt ready to overcome pumping obstacles and stop stressing about each drop of milk. Okay. Give me a little shout out in the comments if you've stressed about each drop that came from that pump. Okay. I know that there's lots of you on there. Yes, we're raising hands, me. Lots of people that are stressing about every single drop. And I hate that. I don't want you guys to have to stress about every single drop. So today I'm teaching thousands of mothers to gain that confidence too in my classes. All right. Since I've started, Lactation Link in this whole community, there has literally been thousands of mothers here where I am in the US and also in several other countries. And that's huge. It's very rewarding for me because as a labor and delivery nurse, I saw so many moms that wanted to breastfeed, wanted to be able to pump, but they didn't have the right tools and nobody was providing that to them. So that's huge. So here's McCall. She achieved her goals with her second born. Her first experience didn't go how she wanted it to. She was able to find Lactation Link, take our classes, and now with her second, she's had a completely 360 experience. And she's been able to pump and also breastfeed and go back and forth as she needs to with confidence. Okay, so I want that to be everybody's story that's on here today. So imagine that feeling. Imagine stop worrying about every single drop and you have confidence in the process. So where are we going to start with our concrete information, our secret sauce today? Let's start with lesson 1. So when should I start pumping? So I think it's different based on what your circumstances are. So let's go with scenario 1. Let's say that you're returning to work, and let's say you're returning to work between 6 and 12 weeks postpartum. I would start pumping a little bit for extra. I would start pumping for a little bit of extra around 2 to 3 weeks postpartum. Okay. If you've got more maternity leave time, you can extend that out a little bit longer to maybe you don't need to start pumping until about 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. So that's when you should start pumping. And don't think that you have to, number 1, get lots of milk right away. You should actually expect to get nothing right away. Because remember, you're feeding your baby and this is all extra. So I don't want you to have any expectations going into it. And then number 2, start small. Start doing it once a day and then see how that goes. And like I said, do it after a feeding, about 30 to 60 minutes after a feeding ends. Throw that pump on. Set up your pumping station so it's not a huge hassle to get it out, and throw that pump on, okay? And then after a few days of that going well, add a second session maybe after you put baby to bed for the night. And after that's going well, then maybe you start adding a midday session. And once again, it all depends on how much milk you're trying to store. If it's just a little excess for date nights and things like that, maybe once a day is totally fine, and try it for just 10 to 15 minutes on both sides. All right. So that should answer your question about when should I start pumping. So if you're going back to work about 6 to 12 weeks postpartum, I'd start around 2 to 3 weeks postpartum and just start with once a day. If you have a longer maternity leave and you're not going back to work to maybe 3 to 6 months, you probably don't need to start until about 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. And how about if you're not going back to work at all, but you're just wanting to store a little extra? Then you can kind of decide, do I want extra earlier or later? And I'm going to start sometime in between 2 weeks and 6 weeks postpartum. And I'm not going to freak out about the amount I get. I'm going to expect to get nothing. And if I get small amounts, I'm going to keep in mind that those small amounts are going to add up quickly over time. Pretty soon I'm going to have some bags of milk stored. Okay, so that's number 1. All right. Allie said she had to change baby's diaper. That's mom problems, right? Right there. She had to change mom's diaper and she missed how long to pump for. So when you're starting out, just aim for about 10 to 15 minutes and try to do it about 30 to 60 minutes after you fed baby. And pump on both sides if you can, okay? All right. All right, so that's lesson 1. So let's go to lesson 2. How long should I pump for? Like I said, about 10 to 15 minutes postpartum, okay? All right, not postpartum, 10 to 15 minutes per session, and try to do it on both sides. So what's more important, frequency or length? So what do you guys think? I'm going to give you a second to type that in the chat. What do you think is more important, frequency of pumping or length? So how often you pump or how long you pump in the session? And I'm going to give you guys just maybe 60 seconds to type in your answer there. Okay. All right, so what are people saying? I'm going to give just maybe 30 more seconds to put that in. Okay. All right, yeah, a lot of you guys are putting in your answers there. All right, so I'm gonna give you my answer, if that's okay. So frequency is actually the most important, and that's a research-based answer. So it's more important to pump frequently, okay, so several times throughout the working day, than it is to just do one long pumping session. So it's much better to pump every 2 to 3 hours for 10 or 15 minutes, or even a less amount of time, okay, than it is to just say, hey, I only have time to pump once in a day. I'm going to pump for 30 minutes. And then if you expect to get the same amount or to be able to keep up your milk production, it's not going to work, okay? Because after, like, as time goes on, it might work for a day or two. It might work for in the short term, especially if you have a good milk supply. But over time, your body is going to say, hey, less milk is required. Babies at the breast not as frequently. And so we can start to downshift our milk production. Okay. So frequency is key. All right. So that's when we're breastfeeding or when we're pumping. So how frequently should I pump? So you should try to pump as often as baby is feeding. It doesn't have to be the same exact time, because sometimes at home, baby's going to go through cluster feeds and is going to want to eat a little bit more frequently than you're able to pump at work. But if you're able to pump about every 2 to 3 hours at least, that's what you should aim for. Okay, so frequency is really important. All right, so lesson 4. This is your secret technique that not a lot of people know about. Once again, it's a research-based tip. It actually comes from Stanford University research. So it's using hands-on pumping to maximize your milk output. So what did I just say? Did I just talk in Mandarin? What's hands-on pumping? Okay. Hands-on pumping is using like a hands-free bra. So a pumping bra where you're able to attach the pump without having to use your hands. And you're able to use your hands freely to massage and compress your breasts while the pump is going. So why does this work, and why does this help maximize our output, help us to get more milk in less time at the breast pump? It's because it helps add compression, all right? When babies at the breast, they use suction just like the pump because they're sucking, but their jaw is also going up and down and is compressing that tissue that lives right behind the nipple, okay? And so if we only use the pump, we're only getting suction. But if we start to use our hands in hands-on pumping with massage and compression, then we're adding compression and we're getting a little bit closer to baby's action at the breast, and we're going to maximize our milk output. So we're going to get more milk in less time. So especially if you're pressed for time, you're going to want to use hands-on pumping. And my Pumping and Storing Breast Milk video class that I'm going to talk about a little bit later has a very clear video tutorial that shows exactly how to do it. And I'll give you tons of confidence in that technique, okay? So using hands-on pumping is very important. Oh, you guys did lots of people answering that frequency question correctly. I've got a lot of great students in this class today. So then tell me in the chat if this stuff is making sense. Especially let me know if that hands-on pumping technique is making sense. Because that's something that you definitely want to do if you're looking to maximize your milk output and shorten your time, which in the beginning people were, raising their hand and saying how much that was their number one thing, is that they wanted to cut down on time. They wanted to be able to maximize their milk output. So tell me in the chat if it's making sense to you guys. Okay. Lesson 5, how do we pump more in less time? So I already gave you that one secret technique, right? Hands-on pumping. But number 2, we want to have everything. We want to, number 1, be really familiar with our pump. So we want to know how to efficiently set it up. We want to know the things that are going to help us, kind of like that Kindy starter kit that you can attach to any pump that has the milk collection bag right on it. Helps you skip that step from taking it from the bottle to the collection bag, things like that, that can really just speed up the process, knowing that if you have a full-term infant, that you can actually just wash the pump parts once a day if you're at work. So you can put them in a large Ziploc bag, put them in the fridge, make sure to put them in the fridge, so that you can't do it if you leave them out, but if you put them in the fridge, remember that we put milk in the fridge to keep it good. So we put it in the fridge, and then we use it time and time again throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, we sanitize it that one time. So we cut out on the washing and drying throughout the day. And we know how to assemble, and we know how to put it away quickly. So if we practice that and we use some of these things like the Kindy and these hacks on only having to wash once a day, we can pump in significantly less time. So something that maybe used to take 25 minutes, we can get down to 10 to 15 minutes start to finish. It's also a huge selling point for your employer when you can tell them, I really only need 10 to 15 minutes. I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, I've got the efficiency down, okay? And once again, our video classes show you exactly how to go through that process efficiently and quickly. So to recap, today we talked about how we can save time when pumping. We talked about how to maximize our letdown when pumping. We didn't talk about that. Let me go over that really fast. So I want you guys to know when you're pumping at work or away from baby, it's going to be a little bit different than when baby's at the breast. So we want to put ourselves in this mind-body connection to be able to get a maximum letdown. Okay, so a couple great things that you can do. You can warm your breasts for just a few minutes right before, if at all possible. So you can use some little breast comfort packs, some rice packs. You could even just use like a rag that you get really warm under the faucet. So try to warm your breasts, okay? And then I want you to maybe bring something from home that's baby. So a blanket, a onesie, something that you could smell that reminds you of baby. Another something you could do is you could have little videos of baby's coos and cries that you could take a look at while you're pumping. Research has actually shown when mom looks at videos or pictures of their baby while pumping, they get more milk out during the session. So that's a huge one you can do. Also, you want to relax, okay? You want to try not to be multitasking as much as possible or to be stressed about something while you're trying to pump. Okay, so if you're answering a bunch of calls or you're trying to multitask with emails and things like that, sometimes that's necessary, and it's better to pump and multitask than not pump at all. But if at all possible, you want to try to get in a little bit of a nice, calm mindset and feeling. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, have your water nearby, and actually think of Niagara Falls falling, okay? And that can help you really maximize your output and help you get that maximum letdown for each session. We talked about that most moms make plenty of milk for their baby, okay? That's a huge one that women kind of, they typically question before they trust the process. And you got to keep in mind that women have been doing this for hundreds and thousands of years without the use of a lot of tips and tricks, without the use of a lot of tools. So I want you to first think that your body was made to do this. And there's really only 1 to 5% of women that are physiologically incapable of making enough milk for their baby. So what I mean by that is that they have some kind of underlying health problem that prevents them from being able to make a full milk supply, okay? And it's really more towards that 1% than it is 5%. So 95 to 99% of women have the right milk making capacity and have the right equipment to be able to breastfeed. So I want that to put your fears to bed that my body can do this. I just got to convince my mind, and I just got to know what's normal to have that confidence that I am going to be able to provide for baby. I've also got to know where to look for that reassurance as far as what I talked about as wellness in baby. So baby's gaining weight. Baby's got good head and length growth. Baby's active and alert throughout the day at different periods, got good skin tone, muscle tone. Those are the indicators we need to be looking at, not milk output at one pumping session, okay? Or not one day where baby had more needs and went to breast more frequently or wanted more milk from a bottle, okay? You learn to avoid those myths about pumping, and you learn to avoid, I can pump 10 ounces in 10 minutes. Okay, that's so great for you, but that's a huge exception. That's not what everybody needs to do. All right, and also about pumping, keep in mind that some moms let down easier to a pump than others. And we also need to troubleshoot a few things. We need to make sure our suction's working. We need to make sure that our fit is correct with the flange, okay, and the breast shield, the part that actually touches your breast. And that's what some of those bonus videos are going to do for you today. You saw that you can become confident in pumping if you're equipped with the right knowledge and support. It's something that I became confident in as I navigated that first experience with my first baby, and I was so happy that I had laid that groundwork when I had these unexpected things come up with my second. And I know that you guys are here today because you want to breastfeed your baby without worry. And if part of that is pumping, you want to be able to pump without worry. You want simple solutions to your pumping obstacles. and you felt uncertain before and you're ready to make a change. So now's the time to do that today, and I'm so excited for what we've got to offer you guys. It's your time to create confidence in motherhood. It's your time to stop worrying about pumping for good and to pump with the guidance of a proven step-by-step system, because that's what I saw when I stood at the bedside of moms, or when I've been in consultations with moms. I've just seen some confusion, and I've seen, just not having clarity. And that's why I created these classes, so that I could say, hey, here's a proven step-by-step. Yes, there's going to be individual adaptation, but this system is a great groundwork for every single person. So remember that everything I've shared with you today, it's not theories. It's not Lindsay's ideas. These are all things that me and my clients have done. They're also all based on research, okay, to be able to achieve breastfeeding and pumping success. And also remember, I've taught this to thousands and thousands of mothers who've had no special advantages or skills. These strategies for pumping work. And if I can do it, I know that you guys can do this too. So I'm going to introduce to you our offer today, okay? What you guys are going to get. You're going to get the Pumping and Storing Breast Milk video class. Typically is $97. It never expires. You're going to get 3 bonus charts and checklists that are valued at $25. One's called the Returning to Work and Breastfeeding Roadmap, and one's called Efficient Pumping in 20 Minutes from Start to Finish. You're going to get a free pumping tank for $25 that this cute mom, that what I said earlier attaches to any bra, whether it's a nursing bra or a regular bra. You're also going to get the Haakaa breast pump that attaches to your alternate breast whenever you're breastfeeding, to help you collect and store milk even faster. Because sometimes when you're breastfeeding and you have a letdown, your opposite breast lets down too. So you don't want to waste that milk if you're wanting to store as much as possible. So this Haakaa breast pump just allows you to attach it very easily to your breast, and it collects anything that drips. Okay, and then the Kindy starter pack that's valued at $49, that, like I said, lets you skip that step of transferring milk from the bottle to the collection bag, and it just goes right into the collection bag. And keep in mind that that starter pack, it attaches to a lot of different types of pumps, and definitely the most popular pumps. You're also going to get some bonus videos that I've never actually given out before. They're newly created, so you can rest assured that they're top research and just the very latest content that I have. So how do I know my breast pump fits? We had lots of questions on that today. What is paced bottle feeding? Remember, we talked about that today, giving baby breaks during their bottle feeding session so that they don't overeat, and they take in about 2 to 4 ounces, which is what they need per session. That way you don't always feel like you're behind. That way you don't feel like you can't catch up with what baby's consuming if we're using paced bottle feeding. And then also, how can I safely store and thaw my milk, which is huge. If you go to all the effort of expressing that milk, you want to be able to store it and then thaw it in a way that it's going to be safe for baby, and that it's not going to ruin before you can use it. And what you're going to achieve in this program is your unique plan to reach your pumping goals without worry. You're going to save $3,000 in formula over that first year. Can you believe that's how much it costs? And that's for just like a generic brand. That's not in case your baby needs some kind of specialty formula. So $3,000 is huge. I'd rather go on a Caribbean vacation than spend $3,000 in formula. Raise your hand if in the comments if that's you guys too. And then $300 to $500 in the first 3 months on healthcare savings. So by the end of our time together in this program, you'll understand the fundamentals of how milk is made and removed. You'll be able to troubleshoot common issues, and you'll be able to create your support system so you know who to go to when you do hit snags. You'll also have the confidence to pump and breastfeed on your own terms. You're not constantly going to be comparing yourself to those around you and your friends and the stories that you hear. You're going to have confidence. You're going to know what your goals are and how to reach those. And you're going to leave with the best tips and tricks to keep you guys on track. So here's what the Pumping and Storing Breast Milk video class looks like. Here's what it includes: how to work with your employer, how to get your free breast pump through insurance. It tells you what the pump parts are and where they go, helps you get your pump set up in 5 minutes or less. It walks you through maximizing milk expression, including that technique I mentioned today of hands-on pumping. You might want to know a little bit more, and you might want to see a little bit more as far as full video tutorials. It's going to tell you when's the best time to introduce a bottle. So many moms write to me and say, baby's 3 or 4 months old and I'm having so much difficulty getting them to take the bottle. Breastfeeding's going great, but I'm having a lot of difficulty. And sometimes those moms, I help them and they get to where they need to be with the bottle, but it takes them a lot longer because they didn't know that window of time that was the best to introduce the bottle. And then how about caregiver tips? A lot of women also write me and say they're having trouble with baby taking too much milk at daycare. So we give a lot of caregiver tips so that you can pass those on to daycare or whoever's going to be caring for your infant while you're away to kind of keep them in that paced bottle feeding technique and keep them in that range that you can keep up with as far as pumping milk for your baby while you're away. Managing our many roles as women, whew, that's a huge one, right? We take anything new on like pumping, going back to work, we just add it to the plate of all the many other things that we're doing. So how do we manage these roles in a healthy way? And then when and how to start building up a freezer stockpile of milk, safe handling, storage, and warming guidelines for breast milk. Because if we warm breast milk in the wrong way, we can risk burning baby, which we don't want to do, obviously. And then number 2, we can risk kind of getting rid of some of those really good ingredients and the composition of breast milk. And we don't want to harm those ingredients at all by the warming process that we use. You'll also get access to our private Facebook group. And me and my other lactation consultants get on throughout the week and we answer questions, we interact, we go live. And you also get tons of support from other like-minded women on a constant basis and kind of on an on-demand basis. So that's a huge perk, is the private Facebook group. You're also going to get these 3 PDFs that we talked about earlier. And the videos that I'm going to include are how do I know my breast pump fits, what is paced bottle feeding, and how do I safely store and thaw my milk. So these are going to be fast action bonuses that are available during the webinar. So if you guys take advantage of this during the webinar, that's when you're going to get the Undercover Mama tank of your choice. That's when you're going to get the Haakaa breast pump of your choice. And then that's when you're going to get the Kindy starter pack, only if you purchase while we're live today. So I'm going to go ahead and make that offer live before I go to the Q&A. And keep in mind, we have unlimited Q&A today. So I can't wait to get to your individual questions. But first, I want to get in here and make sure that that offer's live so you guys can get all those bonuses and you can take advantage of what we've put together today. Okay, so let me go in here to my offers. And then I'm going to choose our pumping webinar special, which we've never done before. And I'm going to publish it for you guys. Okay, so all you guys have to do is click that little buy now button and you'll put your information in, you'll get immediate access to our members only area of our website. And you'll also get the PDF and the video bonuses. And if you can give us just 48 hours to get you the other information, so as far as the physical bonuses and gifts like the breast pump, the tank, and the starter pack, give us 48 hours to get a separate email out for us to be able to get the info to send that straight to your door. But it's a great offer, but I want to make sure to get to the chat and get all of your questions answered. Okay. All right. So let me get in here so I can see what your guys' specific questions are. All right. Ashley says, can you use your healthcare spending account? Absolutely. So you can put your healthcare spending account card, if you have one of those, in. If it takes it, you're good to go. And we'll also provide you an itemized receipt for that. So just go ahead and email Megan and she'll get you an itemized receipt for that. So if it goes through, you're good to go and your specific plan has been approved. If it doesn't go through, then your HSA plan doesn't work for this, but most of them do. And we've had a lot of moms take advantage of that, and it's a huge perk, and it's something that is a great use of your healthcare savings account card. Okay. Okay. And then Brittany says she already has the classes. She can get the extra videos and PDFs. You can go ahead and email Megan for that. Okay. And then Samantha's wondering about another offer because she already has the classes as well. So lots of girls on here that can give us testimonials in the comments because they already have the classes because they knew how valuable they were. So go ahead and email Megan about that, and we'll see what other offer we can get for you as well. Okay. So Marissa asked, do you have any classes about pumping for baby in the NICU? This is perfect for a baby that's pumping, that you have to pump for in the NICU, because it shows you how to get maximum amount, okay? So I would go ahead and take advantage of it. And these tools that you get as far as the Hawk and the Kindy are going to be really helpful, because you're tired if your baby's in the NICU because you may be worried about them. You may have to go back and forth from the hospital quite a bit. So you definitely want to know how to maximize your pumping time and get the most out, and make sure you're establishing that milk supply so when baby's ready to breastfeed, or maybe they already are breastfeeding a little bit, that you can really make sure your supply is where it needs to be. So don't worry, it's a perfect foundation even if baby's in NICU. Okay. Crystal says, is there a way to even out production between breasts? So what she's saying, she's getting a little bit more out of one side than the other. So first of all, I'll say it's not a problem, and it's normal to be getting more out of one side than the other, because we have lots of milk ducts on either side of our chest. Think of them as roots that come down from a tree. They're not going to be symmetrical. You're going to have more ducts on one side than the other. Okay, so you're going to produce more on one side than the other. So I want you to rest assured that's not a concern. A lot of moms will say, oh, I have a slacker breast. Okay. And while that may be the case, not necessarily, because you have different amount of ducts on one side to the other. However, if you want to try to kind of boost up one side, try to, if you're breastfeeding too, offer that breast first at every feeding for several days, because typically babies has more power and more suction when they first go to breast. So offer that breast first for every feed for several days. Also, make sure when you're pumping on that side that's producing a little bit less, that you're using that hands-on pumping. In between pumping or feeding sessions, you could just do a little hand expression. So you don't necessarily have to latch baby, you don't have to get the pump out. Just do some hand expression for 2 minutes, maybe 3-4 times a day in between any of that other stuff, and it can help boost your supply pretty quick, okay, on that side. Okay. Abby says, so you don't get the bonuses unless you buy the video. So it's one video, it's the pumping and storing video. It's a 45-minute class, very comprehensive for pumping, and the bonuses are for those who showed up live today and take advantage of that offer. So great question. Any tips for an exclusive pumping mom that experienced constant plug ducts? Great question, Vicki. So I'd be interested to know, Vicki, are you using massage kind of as a preventative? So a lot of times with plug ducts, when they happen, we go, oh, well, we'll use massage to kind of get rid of that plug duct. But when you're seeing them happen recurrent, like they're coming back over and over again, then I would switch and I'd start using breast massage. So about 30 to 60 seconds of massage before each pumping session. So we're kind of priming that tissue, right? It's kind of like getting on a bike at the gym for 5 minutes to warm up our joints before we do the full workout. So I would do that massage as a preventative before every pumping session. And then I'd start to use hands-on pumping if you're not using that yet. And then some moms have found lecithin to be helpful. It's just a little supplement that you can use if you're having recurrent plug ducts. So those are my tips for recurrent plug ducts. And I want to know, if you're already using those tips and you need more. Okay. All right. Okay, some more questions here. Let's see. All right, so Abby says, who is this that asked? Elise is asking about breastfeeding and pumping for multiples. So all my classes are a great foundation, whether you're having one baby or several babies. They're a great foundation. That being said, if you're having multiples, you want to take the classes. So you could take all 3 of my classes, and then you probably want to have a one-on-one session with me, which is called an e-consultation online. It's HIPAA compliant. It's a secure video chat where we talk about specific things to your situations, whether you're having multiples, whether, oh, I've got something like inverted nipples, or I've got a tricky work schedule, or something like that that's very specific to you, then we can get on and we can talk about it, and I can give safe and accurate recommendations. Because sometimes people will ask about specific, very, very specific things like on Instagram or on our webinars, and it's actually unsafe for me to kind of consult with you because I don't know the full background. So if you have a specific thing, that's where I'd get on and book an e-consultation, and those are also, you can also book those with Healthcare Savings Account cards. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Let's keep going with our questions. These are awesome questions, you guys. Caitlin says the classes have helped her a ton. She's already bought them and watched them. Thanks so much, Caitlin. Okay. Brittany says, yes, they are amazing. Buy them, ladies. Thanks, Brittany. Can you put frozen? Kaylee says, can you put frozen milk from 2 different days in the same bottle? Frozen milk from 2 different days in the same, frozen, okay. Yes, okay, so what she's saying is, if I have 1 ounce that's frozen in a bag, 1 ounce that's frozen in a bag, can I thaw those and can I combine them? Yes, you can do that. When you're storing, I would try to store in about 2 to 4 ounce quantities, because it's gonna be easy for your caregiver, because that's exactly what baby needs, right? That 2 to 4 ounces. And so what I would do, you may not always pump 2 to 4 ounces at a time, is whatever you pump, let it cool in the fridge. And then the next time you pump, let that cool in the fridge. And then once they're both cool to the same temperature, combine it in the same bag to go ahead and freeze it. So that hopefully makes sense for going forward. But then let's say you've already frozen it in 2 separate bags, you can definitely cool it and combine it together, or thaw it and combine it together. Okay. All right, lots of great questions. Oh yes, so Valerie says, Lindsay, have you heard of some women having an enzyme in the milk that can make it go sour after it's stored or cooled? So what Valerie's talking about is high lipase. And so this only happens to, you know, it's not super common. So not everybody's going to deal with this issue, but it's not uncommon, if that makes sense. So lots of women still experience it, so it's worth mentioning. So what I would say to everyone is that before you go and store tons and tons and tons of milk, what I would do is I would store some milk. So I'd either store it for several days in the fridge, so up to 5 days, or I would freeze it, okay, then thaw it, then offer it to baby. See if baby takes it, number 1. And number 2, notice kind of the smell of it. Does it smell soapy? Okay. If you're someone that has high lipase in your milk, sometimes the baby, it'll smell soapy and the baby won't want to take it. Some babies take it just fine, but some babies won't want to take it. And so what'll happen is that moms have a ton of milk stored that baby won't take. And so to avoid that, the first couple that you store, offer it to baby after it's been frozen. Thaw it, offer it to baby, and see if they take it, okay? And if you do have an issue with high lipase, you're gonna wanna scald the milk before you store it or freeze it. Because what happens is if you store it or freeze it without scalding, then that high lipase gets kind of like set in stone in the milk, and even if you scald it after you thaw it, it's still locked in there. So it's kind of, you know, a little bit in-depth explanation there, but I think it's good to bring up on this call because then you don't store a freezer full of milk that you can't use. And let's say that you found, hey, I do have several bags, and hey, I didn't know that I had high lipase. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna combine a little bit of fresh breast milk with some of the frozen and thawed high lipase milk. And if you combine the two, a lot of times the taste will be diluted enough that baby will be able to go ahead and take it, okay? All right, hopefully that answered your question, but that was a great one to bring up. Katie says she for sure loves giving quality breast milk to her son without the expense of formula, which is huge. And everybody has kind of a different reason why they want to reach their breastfeeding goals. Some are like, I just want to be able to save that money. It's huge for my family and I need to be able to save it. Some, hey, it's just a goal of mine. It's something I want to provide. This is what I think is best for my baby. That's my choice, my decision. So lots of different reasons why you have the goals that you have. Okay. All right. Taylor says she's been exclusively pumping for 10 months. So a round of applause for Taylor. You're awesome. I almost immediately have a letdown. See, your questions are coming so fast. So let's see if I can get back to Taylor's question. Okay. I lost Taylor's question, but maybe it's on the... See if I can come back to that if I find it in just a second. Okay. Well, dang it. Maybe Taylor, copy and paste your question and put it at the bottom because it kind of got lost because there's so many questions. Okay. All right. Yasmin, I would love if you would email us. Email Megan@lactationlink.com. That would be fantastic. I'd really appreciate that. And Liz, yeah, you can get the extras, so go ahead and email us. Yeah, Flex Spending account should work as well. Okay, so I think that there was a question about combining stored milk over 5 hours. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Let me find it real fast. Okay, here we go. So Caitlin says, can I be gone for 5 hours without pumping or breastfeeding? So you want to try to stay around about every 2 to 3 hours being able to pump or breastfeed. So you can definitely take your breast pump with you. You can find a space, either your car or wherever you feel super comfortable pumping. You can take a nursing cover with you if you need to be covered while you're pumping. But I would try to stick with that 2 to 3 hours pretty consistently. If there's one time where you have an event where it's like, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, it's a 5 hour thing, okay, that one time, and then get right back on track. But if you make it kind of a consistent thing where you're going 5 hours every time in between pumping, your body will kind of tell the milk supply to ramp down because less is needed, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, Yasmin, you have a great question here. Go ahead and copy and paste your question and email it to me so that I can get that answered. I would love to do that. Charity says, if I pump only an ounce each time, so 1 ounce each time she pumps, can she combine the collected milk? Yes. So like I said earlier, just cool it to the same temperature. So 1 ounce from one session, cool it in the fridge, then the 1 ounce from the next session, make sure it's cooled in the fridge, then combine it. And then you can store it frozen or whatever. All right. Okay, so Stella says, can I combine all the milk that I pumped in the day at the end of the day and put it in the fridge then? Isn't it safe at room temperature until I combine it? Your milk is good at room temperature for up to 5 to 6 hours. So after 5 to 6 hours, it needs to get stored. So you can keep it out for 5 to 6 and then combine whatever you've had. But I think you bring up a good point. Like, let's say you pump in the middle of the night. You don't necessarily need to get up, put it in a bag, put it in the fridge and do all that. You can kind of leave it on the nightstand there for up to 5 to 6 hours at room temperature. And that's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Okay. So Jen was asking about the Haakaa pump. If you're using the Haakaa and nursing at the same time, do you start on the breast not fed on yet or wait until baby has fed on that breast? So you can put the pump on the same time that baby's breastfeeding. So if I'm starting the feed and I'm feeding on my right side, I can put the Haakaa on this side and whatever drips out is what I'm gonna collect. And then if I wanna get more at the end of the feeding, so after baby's gotten what they needed, then I could do a little bit of compression to get more to fall into the Haakaa collection area, if that makes sense. Sarah says that she's in the second trimester but trying to plan ahead. Should I go straight to hands-on pumping, or what should I start with if I want to increase my supply? So if I'm hearing you right, you're in the second trimester of your pregnancy, you're trying to plan ahead for maybe returning to work or just storing some milk. So yeah, whenever you start your pumping, like specific to your situation of when you're returning to work or when you want to start storing, I would always do hands-on pumping because it's going to maximize your time. So anytime you're pumping and you can use hands-on pumping, make sure to use it. Okay, hopefully these are answering your guys' questions. So what are my thoughts on the newest pumps like Naya or Willow? I think that they're like super awesome concepts. I think it's going to be great to see them kind of tested. I know that not a lot of insurances are paying for those breast pumps yet, so I want to, you know, depends on your situation. If money isn't an issue for you, then yeah, if that's something that could be good for your lifestyle, go ahead and try it out. I think that they're great concepts, and I want to see them tested even more. But if you do have insurance, then typically the pumps that are provided through your insurance are going to be just great as well. So that's kind of how I think about those. Ruth Ann. Okay, so Ruth Ann's kind of saying that she's having trouble getting much at all with pumping. So I think you want to troubleshoot. You want to troubleshoot your pump, make sure suction's working, make sure that your flange works. And then if you've done all that and you're still not getting anything out with frequent pumping and the hands-on technique, I'm guessing that you've already tried that. Maybe you haven't, and that's something left that you can try. Then you definitely want to hop on a consultation with me so that we can kind of look at your health history, look at anything else that could be affecting your milk output and production. Awesome questions, you guys. Who know that there's so many questions about pumping. Last time I jumped on a webinar and it was just for all my classes and whatnot. We just had so many questions about pumping. I was like, we just have to do a specific pumping webinar to get all these awesome mommies and their questions answered. Let's see. So Katie says her milk supply has been awesome. So she's saying that she's got a great supply and she's wondering if pumping is just going to make her supply out of control. So you can always start small, Katie, and then see how your body reacts. Because you can always taper back off and taper back down if it's too much. So you can always start small. You don't have to go, oh, let me start by pumping in excess, you know, feeding baby and pumping an additional 3 times per day. Just start small, see how your body reacts. Ooh, okay. So Tennille's saying that they're feeding 7 ounces to her baby at daycare and her baby's 5 months old. So once again, I'll say disclaimer by I don't know your baby's health history and background, but for full babies who are born at full term, they're well infants and they're exclusively breastfed, 2 to 4 ounces is what they'll need. Now they may want to eat a little bit more frequently than a formula fed baby, but 2 to 4 ounces is kind of right where it's going to fulfill their needs. And sometimes it's going to be 2 and sometimes it's going to be 4. But 7 is definitely on the high end. And I think it would be great for you to get, have that what is paced bottle feeding bonus video, because then you'll have a great frame reference to be able to go and tell the caregivers at the daycare, this is kind of the technique we want to follow. Is that something that's going to work for you? Here's the guidelines and research by actually how much our baby needs. Our check-ins at the pediatrician are saying that our baby's growing well. So, let's try this new approach and see how it goes. Okay. And so if you have last minute questions, make sure to put them in because I'm kind of answering as I go and we're kind of getting down to the bottom. And Ruth Ann is also asking, do these videos ever expire? No. They don't ever expire. You can watch them over and over again, come back to them when you have questions, things like that. So Trisha, you can buy it for $97 after you watch the replay, but the bonuses are for those who buy live, okay? Okay. So Allison has a question. She says she pumps every night. Okay. Okay. Crystal says if her baby sleeps 5 to 7 hours a night, should I wake up at the 3-hour mark and pump? So not necessarily. If baby's getting everything that they need and you're able to store what you need for work or otherwise, there's no need to wake up. Okay. If you're trying to play catch up or you're trying to store any extra milk wherever you can, that's an option for you to wake up in the middle of that and pump. But if you're concerned about your body, like your milk supply going down, your body's so smart at regulating and starting to know, okay, this is when baby's sleeping longer. This is when milk's not necessarily required as much. So I'm going to adjust, and it's not going to affect your milk supply if you don't wake up and pump, if that makes sense. So especially if baby's over 2 weeks old, they've come back to birth weight, they're hitting milestones, they're gaining weight, you don't need to wake up in the middle of that 5 to 7 hour stretch unless you want to store extra, okay? Okay, back to Allison's question that I lost just a second ago, sorry. She says she pumps every night at the same time after her 3.5-month-old falls asleep to build an extra supply. Usually I can pump 5 to 6 ounces total, while other days I can only pump 1 to 2 ounces total. Why is it inconsistent? Once again, because baby's going to take, remember that ebb and flow that I mentioned earlier in the call? And so you have to be prepared for that, that sometimes I'm going to get 5 to 6 ounces, sometimes I'm going to get 1 to 2, because maybe baby's fed a little bit more frequently in the day. So there's less milk for me to be able to pull out. Maybe baby's fed a little bit less today, so there's more for me to be able to pull out and store. But really the number one thing you need to go back to is baby growing? Are they gaining weight? Are they hitting milestones? If all those answers are yes, then I wouldn't fret about how much milk you get kind of in one session. The other thing is that sometimes moms will pump more early on. So they'll be able to pump more before baby's 6 weeks old, and then after baby's 6 weeks, they pump a little bit less. Well, think about as baby gets older, they get more efficient at the breast. So they're able to remove more milk, and there's less milk left over for you to be able to pull out, if that makes sense. So it's not an indication that your supply is going down. It's actually an indication that things are going well, and baby's feeding and removing more efficiently at the breast. And then you just store those small amounts and it adds up quickly. Okay. So Whitney says, can I talk a bit about flange size? So once again, that bonus video is going to give you a beautiful demonstration of what that should look like and what you look for there. But, to keep in mind, you don't want any, so if the flange, the outer side of, outer edge of the shield, the part that touches your breast, it shouldn't be like indenting into your tissue. Okay. Also, when you turn it on is the most important thing, because sometimes it looks like it fits, and then you turn it on, and either too much of the nipple is being drawn in or not enough is being drawn in. You want to have just a little bit of space all the way around the nipple, and you want to, see that nipple coming in and out of that chamber, the clear area of your breast pump. But you don't want the areola and excess breast tissue pulled into that chamber, if that makes any sense. But that video does a great job of explaining that in even more detail. Okay, so it looks like we got about 5 more minutes, you guys. I can't wait to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. April says, if I don't feel full anymore, do you think I'm still producing enough for my 7-month-old? I supplement 2 bottles of formula daily because I'm concerned. So one of the milk supply myths is that I don't feel as full anymore. So that is not a good indicator of your milk supply. And if baby's gaining well, there's typically no reason that they need extra, or that your milk supply isn't what it should be. So don't rely on how your breasts feel, or if they feel engorged, to let you know if you have a good supply. Because remember what I just said about 2 minutes ago was that as baby gets older, they get more efficient at removing milk. You're not going to feel as full as they get older. So hopefully that answers. So Kelsey says that she's massaging and using lecithin. It's still happening. Any ideas why? I'm wondering, are you massaging all around? Are you using moist heat? Are you also moving positions? So if baby is breastfeeding, Pointing their nose at the plug can help remove the plug. So changing one time I do football hold, one time I do cross cradle, one time I do reclined back feeding, and see if that helps, changing up position. Making sure your shield is a good fit is going to be a good one. Making sure that you don't have any bras that cut off, like that are a poor fit, either on the top or have a really tight underwire, because that can kind of affect some things and kind of block some ducts as well. So there's a lot of different reasons why that could still be happening. And then Caitlin says, will a strong letdown start to settle down at some point? Typically it does. There are a few things you can do. So what she's saying is her letdown is really strong at the beginning, and sometimes that can cause baby to pop off the breast more frequently, or kind of have baby kind of cough quite a bit at the breast and kind of act like it's just overwhelming them. So a couple things you can do is that you can pump or hand express past that first letdown and then latch baby, or you can also recline back while you're breastfeeding to help slow the flow and make your milk work against gravity. Okay. These are some great questions. I'm going to take 2 more questions, you guys, and just keep in mind that offer for the bonuses. So all that extra stuff that's worth over $200, that offer is going to go away when we get off of the webinar. So make sure to take advantage of it now if you're still kind of on the fence. And like I said, I don't know that we'll ever be able to get this much value again. It was so awesome that we were able to put this together, and I think that there are items that can be so helpful for you guys, in addition to the video classes that you can access over and over again. Okay, so Kirsty says, if baby doesn't drink the entire bottle, can you put the rest of the milk back in the fridge for later, or do you have to throw it away? So that's why I think it's good to do it in those 2 to 4 ounce portions. And baby should probably consume that bottle within about 2 to 4 hours, once that they've kind of put it in their mouth and started to consume it. Now, if the milk is in the fridge, you know, and it hasn't been put in a bottle yet, it can last in the fridge for up to 5 days, 5 to 6 days. Oh, that was Ashley's question. How long do you keep milk in the refrigerator before you freeze it? I don't always get 2 to 4 ounces in a day, so I just freeze what I got at the end of the day. That's good. So milk can be kept, like I said, for up to 5 to 6 days, as long as your refrigerator is, you know, at the right temperature. And then you can combine and freeze in those 2 to 4 ounce portions. So hopefully that helps. Samar says that her daughter's 18 months. She plans to breastfeed until she's at least 2 years old. Stop pumping for about 6 months now. Like, start up again to get more milk supply. How can I achieve this successfully? So take advantage of this offer today, Samar. It's going to be a step-by-step guide for you to get going and to also not waste your time and not, because you got other things to do, right? Than to try to troubleshoot and figure this out. So if you want to get to that goal of 2 years and you want to store a little bit more milk, I think this is a perfect way to do it, and start small and work up. And Shelby, Megan's email is just social@lactationlink.com. So go ahead and send her an email and let her know of any issues that you guys experience with the checkout process today, or any questions that you have. Valerie's asking about scalding milk. So if you do have any of that high lipase issue that we talked about earlier, so you just actually put it in a pan and then turn on the heat and watch for it just to get bubbles around the side. So you don't want it to be boiling, but just some bubbles around the edge of that pan. Turn it off, store the milk. Cool it, store it, okay? All right. Okay, you guys, I hope you guys had so much fun today. I had so much fun hanging out with you, answering questions. Hopefully you felt it was confidence building. You felt empowered. If you had any questions, if you had any cart issues, please email us. I had so much fun hanging out, and I can't wait till we do it again. Have a great day. See you guys. Bye-bye.